Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Through a Trauma-Informed Lens, Soma, Psyche Soul. I'm Aneta Itchak and I'm your host here. Thank you so much for joining me here in this space. As you can see, I am coming from a different part of the world. I am visiting my parents, I'm having a break, stepping away from daily busyness of running the business, running a training institute, working with clients. And usually I wouldn't record an episode when I'm away. However, last week I completely ran out of steam. September and October have been very, very, very busy, and I just ran out of steam. I didn't feel that I had that much of anything to share. I couldn't just hit the record and show up. And I know my own rhythm. I have learned over the last 15 years of running my business, almost 10 years full time, that I have to honor that rhythm, that if I push through, I will pay the price. Check in for yourself whether what I'm saying resonates with you. Maybe you know your own rhythm as well, or maybe you don't know your rhythm yet. And every so often, it feels like you just have to crash completely. So for me, over the last few years, I really learned to listen to those early warning signs. And those early warning signs usually for me is my creativity dries up. Things start becoming really, really, really effortful. I lose my sense of wonder, sense of feeling like everything is sacred, like my work is sacred, and it just becomes this daily hustle and grind. And so I learned to listen to those early warning signs and to really honor them and to allow myself to step back. Because this show, my intention is for it to be a weekly show where I record a video, and from that we create audio for my podcast. The video goes on YouTube. We create some clips for YouTube. I share it with my list through my email, create maybe some posts for social media, create a blog from the video. There is a lot that goes into each episode. And yes, the intention is for it to be a weekly show. However, sometimes I know that there are some weeks, especially at the end of the month, where I might not have enough steam. And so I understand that each month there might be definitely 3 episodes, but maybe there might be 4 episodes. Maybe like this October, there are 5 weeks. And so maybe there will be 3 or 4 episodes. And so last week there was no new episode. And so this week, because there are 5 weeks, I am creating a new one. And so this sense of tuning into your own needs, tuning into your own rhythm is really, really important, especially for those of us that are small business owners. Because I am the CEO, I am the founder of my business, of Golden Mandala Somatic Coach Academy, of the training certifications that I run, of mentorships that I run, of the Embodied Business Mandala mentorship and mastermind program. I am CEO of that business. I am the boss of that business. And so I call all the shots within my business. And I can adjust the rhythm. And this is one of the things that I see a lot of business owners that really make that mistake, setting the expectations so high, creating the rhythm and the schedule that is so rigid that doesn't allow them to have a little bit of a wiggle room. And this is something that I would invite you to do, to really review on a regular basis whether the rhythm and the schedule that you set for yourself still works for you, or maybe something that needs changing, adjusting, amending, letting go of, bringing in, because really, ultimately, it needs to work for you and it needs to work for your clients. And today I wanted to talk about something that comes up so often in my conversations with other female practitioners. It's very much related to the rhythm and the schedule and really finding your own way of running your business, your own way of working. And that something is the sense of embodied confidence. Confidence is number one challenge, number one problem that women talk to me about. And that confidence is around creating the business and life that works for them. Because we often talk about confidence within the context of the skills that we have. Am I a confident practitioner, like somatic practitioner or trauma-informed practitioner? Do I feel confident to speak in front of new audience? Do I feel confident to offer my services? Do I feel confident to charge the prices that I need to charge? Do I feel confident in reaching out to new people? Do I feel confident to create a podcast? Do I feel confident to create new services? There is so much that comes under that umbrella of confidence. And so today, as I'm talking to you, I have got my cup of tea with me and I created some notes to remember what I'm talking about, because I know that when I am in this mood, in this state of taking a step back from my business, I know that my brain works in a slightly different way. I've been focusing on being with my parents, doing stuff and not focusing on working. And so I need little reminders to help me, to prompt me along the way. So when I think about confidence, different people define confidence in different ways. For me, confidence means knowing deep within me, in every cell of my body, that what I'm doing or I'm talking about, I know inside out. So the confidence comes from knowing in every cell of my body that I know what I'm doing. Or, and here is something that a lot of people miss out on, is that the confidence that I have in my own skills allows me to take the risk, allows me to take the step into the unknown, because I know deep within myself that I can learn, I can work it out. When I look at my life, I've been in so many different situations that I didn't know what I was doing. And I had to work it out. I had to learn. I had to learn English language well. I had to learn about mental health and addiction. I had to learn about child protection. I had to learn about how to run teams. I had to learn therapeutic approaches. I had to learn coaching. I had to learn how to teach yoga. I had to learn somatic approach. I had to learn a lot of different things. I had to survive living in London at the age of 18 on my own. I had to find my way in a different country with a different language. There is a certain quality of confidence that I have that comes from me knowing that I survived all of those things. That there were hard things. I didn't know how I was going to survive. I didn't know my way around. And I worked it out. In that way, my nervous system knows that I have survived difficult situations, that I worked it out, that I can learn even though things are very challenging, and I don't know how I'm going to do that. And so this is the thing about confidence, the thing that so many people miss out, that it's not just about the skills that we have, It is about how our nervous system and our brain perceive risk, perceive threat of the unknown, and perceive our capacity for survival. Because ultimately, your nervous system is designed to really look out for signs of threat to life. And by the way, every single threat is perceived as a threat to life. There isn't any other threat. So the nervous system is always looking out for things. And when we want to change, when we want to step in a bigger role, when we want to do something that we haven't done before, there is no guarantee that we're going to be successful or that it's going to work. That's the real definition of stepping into unknown. But this is also the definition of growth. You cannot grow without stepping outside of your comfort zone, without stepping into the unknown. You've got to step into the unknown, which feels risky. There will be fear involved. There will be no guarantee. There will be a sense of wondering and doubting. That's part of the process. And so really understanding how that process works within you can allow you to make a plan and keep moving forward with baby steps. So often I see really skilled, empathic, deeply caring, conscientious women hitting a wall and stopping themselves from moving forward because all of those feelings and responses come up within their body, within their nervous system, within their brain. The amygdala and the nervous system go on a full alert, showing you that there is a threat to life. And yet, when we understand that this is part of the process, every time you move forward, changing something, this is the part of the process, then you can keep moving forward. Because your obstacles are not a sign from the universe that you don't have what it takes to succeed. They are more like little tests that come up as if our nervous system and the universe say, do you really want that? Maybe you're just saying that you want it and you don't really want it. And so those obstacles, those tests can come up from within, different parts, different protector parts just freaking out, showing you that you're winging it, that you don't know what you're doing, like your imposter part or your critical part or your perfectionist part. They can come from outside in your relationships with other people, like your client asking for a refund or somebody complaining about your work or people canceling, working with you, or in your close relationships within your partners or your children or your closest friends. People voicing those doubts towards you. Or it can come up in your environment. Something breaks. I remember this one time when I decided, that's it, I am stepping in and I am doing it, and I'm fed up of feeling fear all the time. I am going just to do that. And I remember sitting in the kitchen, spread out all the documents and looking at things and creating stuff. And then guess what? My kitchen ceiling that I was facing, we've got open plan kitchen and living space. As I was sitting on the table facing towards the kitchen ceiling collapsed. And I just remember thinking, that's it. That's just the sign from the universe. Nothing works. And I had to clean up everything. I ended up crying my eyes out for about half an hour. then wiped my face and went back. And this is the key. We cannot take those signs as a sign from the universe telling us that we can't do it, because that's not what it is. The doubts that come up are really testing us, checking that we have commitment and determination and that we made that decision to keep moving forward. And so that confidence that you want needs to come from your ability to do things, but also from your deep trust in yourself, in your skills, and what you've been through already. The stuff that your nervous system and your brain and amygdala learned already that you survived. And knowing that you can learn things. Like, nobody in this world was born knowing how to run a business. Some of us were really lucky that we grew up in families that taught us how to do it. We learned along the ways. If you have not had that and you're just starting, you are going to have to learn it. The same if you've never coached anybody, you're going to have to learn it. The same if you never did a massage, you're going to have to learn that. The same as if you never written anything, you're going to have to learn that. It's a skill that we have to learn. And that takes me to the second thing that I wanted to share with you. And that is that practice is everything. I am really sorry to be party pooper. But there is no shortcut for experience. This is why comparing yourself with somebody who's been doing something, let's say for 10, 20, 30 years, is not helpful. You are never going to catch up with them. And they experience it's what's made them. This is why, that overnight successes are 10, 20, 30 years in the making. This is why when you see somebody on the stage speaking, they don't have to try very hard. They know how to engage the crowd. They know how to interact with the audience. They know how to present certain things because they had so much experience that now it comes to them in an effortless way. But it didn't at the beginning. And so the other day I was on the call, our monthly call, question and answer and mentoring session for our trauma-informed somatic teacher and coach for women training certification. And we were talking about this inner resistance to be more visible, this inner resistance to show up. And that sometimes we can go through a period of time of showing up and then suddenly we can't. And when I think about this, it's very clear for me that sometimes it's easier, the life is humming along, it's all good, we're doing stuff that we know. And when we start doing something that we don't know, the inner system, our nervous system, our brain, amygdala hits the brake. We are stepping into new territory. We are showing up more. It feels unsafe. It feels life-threatening. And as I said earlier, if that's the case, you just need to keep taking the steps forward, smaller steps, baby steps that actually feel achievable rather than stopping completely. Because it's much easier to keep the momentum going if you are moving forward, even with the baby steps, rather than when you're starting from not doing anything, from this space of stillness. And so resistance is part of the process. When you move into the resistance, when you touch resistance, when you sit with it and you keep moving forward with baby steps, that's your growth. That's your transformation. That's your learning. And as I said, practice is everything. You do this kind of thing once, yes, a little tiny baby step, no big deal. You do it over a month, yeah, it's still no big deal. You do it over 3 months, 90 days, you can see a little bit of stuff moving. You do it over 1 year, yeah, you can see change happened. Big change sometimes. You do it over 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, big things change over time with baby steps. That's your practice. The practice is not to just do it when things feel effortless and lovely and really good and I'm enjoying it and I'm in flow and love and light and peace and everything is wonderful and I'm floating above the ground. Yes, there are times like that, but sometimes it's just, I don't feel like doing this. And I feel this inner resistance and I'm not feeling creative today and I don't want to be showing up. And why is it so hard? And why am I trying so hard? Why everything doesn't feel easy? We all have questions like that. We all have those doubts. But people who achieve their goals keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Sometimes in a way, like I said to you last week, I ran out of steam. I knew I couldn't record an episode. I just couldn't. That was just it. There are other things that I needed to finish and complete, and I was completely spent. I stepped back. But this week, I'm here. I'm showing up again. I'm doing it again. And really, when I think back, my podcast, my show, has been running for over 2 years now. There is a library of audios and videos, and I hear again and again from people how much they love listening and watching those episodes. And that fills my heart with joy. I know that I am making a difference in these people's lives. And that makes me happy. So practice is everything. At the beginning, when you're learning something, you are going to be rubbish at it. Maybe you will have some kind of talent or skill around it, like many of us have got a lot of empathy and we can hold space intuitively for others because we've done it. It comes naturally to us. But maybe we struggle with creating clear boundaries. Maybe we can do a really lovely Canva picture, but we can't really create a good post. Maybe we can write well because we've been writing a lot throughout our life, but maybe video really scares us. And so drawing on your strengths and practicing to get really, really, really good. They talk about 10,000 hours of practice to become really good at something. The more you practice, the better you become at it. So let me just have my cup of tea. It's been very windy in here, very, very windy and a lot of rain. Let me have a look at my notes. Okay, so the first thing, let me just recap what I've been talking about. The first thing was about what confidence is. And the confidence is knowing in every cell of your body that you know what you're talking about and or that you trust yourself to learn and work out what it is that you need to do in order to achieve that goal. And that comes from your past experience knowing that you survived many different things in your life already. You've got that lived experience. The more of the lived experience you have, the more you can lean into that trust and that confidence within yourself. The second one that I was talking about was that practice is everything. There is no shortcut for experience. You've got to practice. You have to show up. You have to keep showing up completely imperfectly and keep moving forward, keep doing things imperfectly. And the third one is this understanding of the nervous system. And I already talked about this earlier, but I cannot stress it enough. How many of us do not understand the process of growth? How often we think consciously and very often unconsciously that things should be easier than they are. And the reality of it is that if things were really easy, things like running a successful and thriving business that is deeply impactful, the kind of business that you absolutely love, that you know is making a huge difference in other people's lives. If it was that easy, lots of people would be doing it. In fact, many people try to do it, but not many people stay in business long enough to succeed. And I talked about this in the past episodes. Our relationship with time is completely skewed. Things take time. You can have an insight in a split of a second. You can change your mind in a split of a second. But then you have to bring it into your daily life. You have to integrate it and you have to embody it. And that takes time. It takes time to find your groove working with your clients. It takes time to create your own framework. It takes time to develop your language. It takes time to build your business with all the foundations. It takes time to be fully booked up. It takes time to create and build successful business. It takes time to have foundations in place so you can upscale. It takes time to walk your talk. It takes time to develop healthy habits. It takes time to learn. It takes time to live your life in a way that you want and work in a way that you want. It really takes time. It might take longer than a couple of years to have all of those things in place. But is it worth it? It is. And the gift is your deep sense of self-trust, feeling confident in the way that you are and in the way that you work, and deep inner knowing that you know what you're doing and you can learn as you move forward. For me, this is the biggest gift. For me, this is worth all the effort, all the challenges, all the sleepless nights, all the tears as well, because you can really do it. What else is there to do in life? Then work it out for yourself the best way that you can. And be part of positive change within the world. That's so worth it. So worth it. And we all know that the world really needs it. So this is why this last point about understanding your nervous system, understanding how your brain and your amygdala works, and the role that it plays in change and growth within your personal life, within your relationships, and within your work, it's so, so important. Because when you start with this inside out way of approaching everything, that's when you have the most sense of inner power. Working it out one baby step at a time. When you hit the resistance, when you hit the self-sabotage, when you hit the doubts, whether from within or around you, from your relationships or from your environment, you know that they just obstacles that are part of your journey. The obstacle, the resistance, is where the biggest growth is. And you can do it at your own pace. That's life-changing stuff for me. It's made the biggest difference in my own life. And I hear it every single day in my training certifications and in my programs from women who work with me, how much of a difference that makes to their own work and within their lives. So I hope that makes sense. I am going to talk more about this as we keep moving forward, because this is something that so many people don't understand. So many of us try to focus just on changing the outside circumstances. But the real work is within you, within understanding how the process of change and growth and healing works, and how you can approach it in a way that works for you, and then bringing it into everything that you do. Not just your work, but every area of your life as well. So I hope that makes sense. If you are interested in learning more, check out the information about my training certification, Trauma-Informed Somatic Teacher and Coach for Women. We run 2 cohorts a year, one in spring, one in autumn, and I would love for you to join us. Take care of yourself. Enjoy autumn, and bye for now.